Good morning, guys. Let me just make sure I had my Wi-Fi enabled. I do, so I should be coming in loud and clear here. Figuring this stuff out one day at a time. We'll wait for a minute before some of you guys come in here. Thank you guys so much for following. I do appreciate that. I know that, as I said many times, I've really neglected this channel, but I'm going to stop doing that. As a result of the coronavirus, I have just made a commitment to myself to start getting more engaged with new technology, even though Instagram is a decade old. But just start dipping my toes into new things. And, before, the reason why I never did this is because I just never had Instagram installed on my phone. And so when I finally installed it, I was like, okay, well, I guess that's step one to getting more familiar with this. And now I know how to fairly, navigate it in some sort of a manner. So what's going on, guys? Thomas, Trevor, what's up? Pap Star, what's going on, Pap? Good to hear from you, man. Casa, who else we got here? Blue collar musician, Scotty, or A. Scott Little, Danos D, Trip One. Glad you guys are here. So, anyways, I'm just gonna hang out for a bit. Chat with you guys. I do want to just say thank you so much for the incredible positive comments that have been flooding into that video that I put up the other day about me saying that I'm just kind of done with negative people and negative vibes. And I just, just all, if you guys go watch that video, like every single comment is just absolutely incredible and beautiful. So I'm just like blown away. That's really cool that many of you are basically with me on this. Like you feel the same way that I feel about that, and you're doubling down on staying productive, staying motivated and optimistic. Of course, there's always one, and this is kind of funny because in that video I made multiple references to the fact that it seems like there's these two words that always begin the doubter or the pessimist, sort of reaction to me being optimistic, and it's always yeah, but. It's always those two words together in that order for some reason. It's always yeah, but negative, 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 negative. And that's what I think. Of course, there has to be one guy on that video. His comment starts with yeah, but, and I think he said something like, but this is a real serious thing, and people are really making some hard decisions. And it's like, first of all, did you not watch the video? That's exactly what I told you. I don't want to hear, not interested in that. And you don't think that I'm aware that people are making really tough decisions right now and people are getting laid off and people are having a hard time with this? I'm not ignorant to the fact that this is hitting all of us. It's hitting me. It's hitting all of you guys. So you're not breaking any news, and you also obviously didn't pay attention to it. So that person was just muted off of my channel. I don't want to hear from him anymore. I was about to respond, and I was like, you know what? Didn't even watch the video, didn't even understand what I'm getting at here. So you're exactly the person I was trying to eliminate out of my life. So thank you for at least self-identifying yourself so I can go ahead and get you out of here. But for everybody else, I mean, literally, that was the only one, the only person that did that. Everybody else, the emails that I got, the comments, everything else you guys were giving me was 100% just doubling down with what I was saying. And you guys are on the same page. So thank you guys for being soldiers and sticking with this. So So guys, pop any questions you guys have into the chat here. I'm going to hang out for about 20, 30 minutes today. And then I actually have an interview with a library owner who I'm going to interview for my podcast. And I'll release that probably in the next couple of weeks or so. So hopefully that all goes smoothly. But I'm really excited to pick his brain about what his library does. And most importantly, like always want to dive into their world in terms of like what makes your life easier, like what kind of a composer or what things can a composer do that you would go, we need that composer, let's bring him into our company. So I want to really pick his brain on that, and hopefully for you guys you'll get that insight, because really the key to doing well in this business is you have to like empathize with the needs of the people you partner with, right? If this is a service industry, what are their needs? How could you make their lives easier with how you approach them, how you deliver your music, how you deliver your metadata, your stems, anything that might actually help them out. So we're going to basically try to dive into all those topics with our conversation to help you guys out, better stand out from the competition. Mikasa, I've been at work since 3 a.m., man. All right. Well, hopefully you're staying awake and alert. Awesome, guys. Thomas is saying the last video I just finished watching was tips on 2 types of music libraries. Probably the exclusive versus non-exclusive. Yeah, definitely a lot of considerations for that. That's why I put those videos out, because I get so many of the same questions over and over and over again, which is good because people are finding my content and they want to learn about the side of the business. But, obviously I don't want to repeat myself 1,000 times, I'll shoot myself in the head if I have to repeat the same information over and over again. So I end up putting out these tutorials that really just walk you through, because there's a lot of stuff you have to be aware of. It's not just as simple as, oh, here's your answer in one complete sentence or even one paragraph. That's why it takes 20 or maybe sometimes 30 minutes for some of those presentations, because you just got to be aware of, there's no 100%, oh, no brainer, always go in this direction or always go in that direction. It's never that simple. You always have to realize that everything has a pro and a con. And depending on what your goals are and what you want to do with your licensing career, you need to decide which one of those is a better strategy for you. Or, of course, if you have no idea what direction you should go with, exclusive, non-exclusive, what kind of libraries you should partner with, that's why the A/B testing strategy is always there. And you should be doing that no matter what you do, is always A/B comparing. All right, let me try a little bit of this strategy, a little bit of that. Let's see where I go. Let's see if I get some better results from one or the other. That way you can go back and course correct, right? So you start seeing that, like, one of the approaches you made, maybe your non-exclusive libraries do better for you. The exclusive ones have been quiet. Well, then you can pump a little bit more of your time and energy into the non-exclusive, maybe cut a little bit back on your exclusive relationships, or swap this exclusive library out for a new one that might be giving you a little bit more face time, essentially, right? Treating you with a little bit more of an individual manner. Papstar, I want to say your program changed my life. Can't wait to email all the good stuff that has happened. Awesome, man. Yeah, Pap, I remember our interview, man. Your interview pretty much brought me to tears, man. Just the struggles you've gone through. I mean, the heart. If you guys haven't watched his interview, I can't remember, Pap, what we called your interview on my YouTube channel. Wish I had that in front of me. If you remember it, man, just put it in the comments and I'll read it out. But you guys really need to listen to his story, because you guys think you've gone through some hardships in your life. You haven't gone through what he's gone through. And even in the midst of that, darkness that he was going through, he even decided, I got to double down. I got to get productive. I got to work towards something. I got to improve myself, improve my skills, improve my situation. So you're an inspiration to me, man. I was really probably way more inspired by that chat and your story than you probably ever were from what I do. I do appreciate that, man. But thank you for being open and vulnerable and sharing with us, like, what you were going through there. That's incredible, man. And I know you're still going through it. I know it's not over, but it's all mindset. It's up here, man. I mean, Pap can tell you, it is about deciding, choosing. What do I want to do? I can't control the external. I can't control coronavirus. I can't control this. I can't control that. A lot of stuff, probably most of our life. Can't control most of it. All you can control is how you react to it, how you perceive it, what you do, right? So it's really, happiness and productivity is a choice. And anybody telling you that it's just because, well, things are just too stacked up against me right now, so I don't feel like I can get anything done. That's really your choice. You're choosing to do that. So, like it or not, I'm not saying it's like an easy, just make a choice. All right, I'm going to get up and start walking today. It's not that simple, but it is a choice, because what you're going to do is you're going to start to put in productive habits into your life on a daily basis, and improving your health and sleep and fitness and diet and all that good stuff. And also really being mindful of what you consume, right? Getting sucked into negative news and scary doomsday, crap that's going on right now. Where do you think your brain's going to be? You're choosing to be in a negative spiral. You're choosing depression. You're choosing hopelessness. You're choosing despair. And you're choosing this, like, fear porn that's getting pumped into everybody's living room right now. But you have the choice to turn everything off, anything off you don't want to listen to. And you don't have to be, addicted to that kind of stuff. And you can really be mindful of what you guys consume, including the music you listen to right now. I'm kind of going back to, and I'm getting a lot more in drumming, obviously, now. I don't know if you guys my drum set behind. But kind of going back and listening and trying to make a playlist of all the, key pivotal songs that made huge differences in my life, that I remember, like, that was a song that got me through this. This was a song that helped me, think about that, or whatever it was. I know that there's just like probably a list of 20, 30 songs that just completely got me through tough times, motivated me. I just got hooked on them, and they really just changed or transformed my life in some way. So I'm kind of going back and listening to those right now on a playlist on repeat over and over and over again. So I'm being really careful about what I'm listening to, what I'm consuming, because I'm not giving in to despair. I'm just not giving in to the depression. I'm not giving in to any of that stuff. I'm going to make this an opportunity for myself. I'm going to stay productive. I'm going to stay hard. I'm going to be working hard, and I'm going to, be curious about new technologies and new cool things going on. And I'm diving further and further into that Oculus Quest every single day and trying out new apps and new things. So it's really, really fun. And by the way, if any of you guys do have an Oculus Quest or any sort of a VR headset, and you want to start, like, hanging out in a virtual place with me, email me, jesse@syncmymusic.com. I am looking to try to create more of a community around VR, but I obviously need a couple of you to have a VR headset and to join me for that. So I know that not most people don't have one, so I'm not expecting a lot of people to reach out. But if you do, please do hit me up, because I'd love to talk to you about creating basically a virtual room where we can hang out. And I want to record that. I want to show people what this conversation is, what this technology is all about, and how people should really start to embrace it and at least show some curiosity for it. So, Pure Porn, my new punk band. Yeah, not a bad name. Papstar just put the link in the chat, so you guys should go check that out. Thanks, man, for posting that. Really, really great interview, man. Certainly one of the most impactful that I've had, one of the most impactful interviews that I've ever done on my channel. So it's definitely not something to miss out. And if you need some motivation, that's the video right there for you guys today. Absolutely. All right, put up your questions, guys. I'm not seeing too many questions yet. All right, Thomas is saying you made a good point that strict libraries are the only way to go. Yeah, you're going to want to definitely get into a library that's not very easy to get into, obviously. You don't want to go into the place that's just like, click a button, upload your tracks, you're a composer with us, congratulations, right? They don't even know who you are. They don't even know if you signed up for their website or not, right? So they're not going to give you any time of day. So that's why I made that point. It's just a really quick way. If you're looking through a library and it says become a composer, and it's literally a couple of clicks, a couple of buttons, and you're up on their website. I'm not saying they can't do great things for you. They possibly could, but just be aware that that's sort of like going into a nightclub where there's no dress code and there's no cover and there's no requirements at all to get in. You guys have probably been to some sort of a club like that, or some sort of a situation where the bar is set extremely low. You're going to get low quality. That's just what you're going to get. You're going to get into an establishment that's just not valuing its customers or its writers or its composers or anybody, because there's really no sort of screening process to make sure that you're the right kind of a composer for them, right? Yeah, and then there was another email I got this morning from a producer who was actually learning about sync licensing from just another place you can learn about sync licensing. I don't want to mention their name, but they were told that you don't worry about your tracks being mixed or mastered in the sync licensing business. You can just send them off to a library and they'll just take care of that for you. And I'm like, nope, that's 100% wrong. I'm sorry somebody gave you that really bad whack advice. But if any of you guys have been told that, and I know a couple of people that teach people about sync licensing give that advice, don't worry about mastering. Don't worry about mixing. They'll take care of that. They're sending you down a path of failure when they tell you that, because what you're doing is when you send tracks that are in demo form or not mixed or mastered to a library, you're asking them to do your homework for you, right? Who wants to do somebody else's homework for them? Nobody, right? Libraries are human beings, right? So if you know anything about human beings, they don't want to do your homework for you. They expect your music to be ready to go, ready to be placed. So just, if you guys have ever heard that, and you were wondering, do I have to even worry about mixing and mastering my tracks? Yes, you should. And yes, you do need to do that. That's why I put together all the tutorials that we have in Sync Academy, so that you guys know how I've never spent a dime paying for any of my tracks to be mixed or mastered. Done it 100% from within my computer. Sometimes it was a MacBook years ago, turned into the Mac Pro, the big, huge version of it, and now I'm back to just an iMac. But I've been doing all my mixing and mastering straight through plugins and a full-time income with sync licensing. So any professional mastering engineer that tells you you're not mastering properly, that's not the right way to do it. Okay, come and tell me that. I'm doing this full-time, and I've never paid any mastering engineer to professionally master my tracks. I get it to where it can be acceptable with libraries, and that's what matters, right? Getting your tracks accepted by them, placed into TV shows. If that's really what matters, then you can do it yourself, and you should start learning to do it yourself. So I want to make sure you guys are very clear on that. Yes, you need to mix and master your tracks when you send them to libraries. Jukebox. If you were to write a music for a commercial like Home Depot, do you get money every time the commercial airs? Most of the time, yeah. Obviously, it depends on the kind of deal that you strike with whoever is facilitating that opportunity. Some commercials are a straight out buyout where they're just going to pay you, let's say 5 or 10 grand. It's like it's just a 100% buyout and no back end royalties, and they're taking ownership of the music. Some they'll give you a sync fee and you'll take your royalties. Others, maybe there's a very little or no sync fee and just royalties on the back end. So it kind of depends on the situation, but a lot of them absolutely, and that's where a lot of great money comes from, commercial airing. The downside, of course, though, is that commercials don't air forever, right? So a commercial usually airs for couple months, probably at the most, maybe 6 at the very most. The commercials eventually go out and then they replace it with a new one. So usually TV shows is pretty much where you're going to see more of that long-term revenue, because TV shows air for years and years and years and years. Think about Seinfeld or The Office or any of those kind of shows. They've been airing for years. They just really never went off the air. They just got picked up, syndicated with another network. So TV shows are still pretty much the best place for those passive long-term income royalties. Yeah, Thomas is saying you'll stick with the libraries provided from Sync Academy. I think you're talking about Sync Edge. Sync Edge is where I recommend the music libraries. So, but yeah, those are vetted. Those are well researched. So, thank you, D. Noel. Hope you're doing all right this morning. Boom Fox Productions, what's up? Philip Pence. Kevin Cheek, do you mix master directly after you complete the track, or do you make numerous tracks and go back and mix and master? I usually mix and master. That's a great question, Kevin. I mix and master right when I'm done, essentially. What I'm doing lately, actually, because I have a lot of music I have to crank out, is I'll basically do 2 or 3 tracks in one session. I actually uploaded a video on my YouTube channel a couple weeks ago showing you guys what I'm doing for our current Sync 60 challenge. I'm just cranking out tons and tons of tracks. And because I have a large number of tracks that need to get out as soon as possible, what I'm doing is I'm basically creating a template that has all the instruments that I need. I'm creating 3 different songs, 3 different tracks within one session, because then I don't have to reload a new session and do that kind of stuff. And what I'll do is, because I'm using all the same instruments, all the same drums, guitars, bass, everything, I'm using pretty much the same mastering plugins as well. So everything, because it's all in the same genre, same style, I'll use different BPMs and tempos, and you can change that, especially with Logic. You can actually automate. Okay, at this point, I want my BPM to go up to 130. Over here, I want it to go down to 120. So I do have different BPMs depending on the needs of the track. But yeah, once I'm done with the track, generally, I will mix and master it right then and there. And my mixing and mastering process is no more than 2 hours at the most, at the very most, because I use a lot of presets and I use a lot of plugins that I know always work. So I don't need to reinvent the wheel every time I master a track. I know what EQ I like to use. I know what stereo spreader I like to use. I know what add limiter I like to use. I know what levels I need to get my track to. So once you get into the hang of this thing, you start to realize that it's become sort of a formula where you can get your track sounding great at a certain level. You know what level they need to be at in their raw phase. When you add your mastering plugins, you know where it can essentially go, where it needs to go. And then if you need to make tiny adjustments, a little bit, which I'll do on every track, a little bit of EQ adjustment, depending on what's going on in the music, a little bit of compression adjustment, so I'll do all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it is simply a plug and play. You got your music, as long as your track is hitting exactly what it needs to hit, it's focused in the genre, it's got great dynamics, you really focus on a particular emotion. Get all that stuff right first, and the mixing and mastering process is a joy, and it's really simple, and it's really easy, and it's really fast. Cali Fresh, when submitting music, should that particular piece already be submitted to I think you meant BMI or ASCAP. No. Usually you're going to let a library register your tracks for you once they accept your tracks, because they need to associate their publishing company with your music. So usually they're going to take a portion or all of the publishing. So that means they're going to take care of that registration process to ensure they get their cut when tracks get placed, right? Your job is to log into your PRO account and make sure that those tracks do show up under your account and show you as the writer. And I hope sometimes, most of the time, should be 100% writer unless you co-wrote with somebody else. So yeah, no, you don't have to have your tracks registered beforehand. If they are, it's not a dead end issue. You're not going to stop. They're not going to prevent you from working with a library. But let them know, I've already registered these tracks under these titles, so they might have to go in and adjust your registrations to include themselves as a publisher if they're going to start shopping your music. Trip 1, what future do you see for tension music composers in the sync licensing business? Probably the same as it is now. I mean, tension music gets placed in reality shows, competition shows, drama shows, crime shows. So anything where there's tension, you're going to find it, obviously, in just movies, trailers. It can be all over the place. Definitely video games, VR content. That's going to be a big thing coming up. So tension music is all over the place. I mean, you think about Other than optimism and joy, which is really big in the TV and ad space, tension is probably the second one. It's probably optimism, happiness, joy, and tension is just a close second because almost everything needs tension, some sort of like keep you on the edge of your seat sort of vibe. So wide open spaces for those kind of opportunities. Jay Goldfinger, do you think the major sports networks are going to pay the PROs this quarter? This is specifically related to ASCAP. I don't know. I have no idea of knowing that. ASCAP is basically making the report that a lot of royalties are going to be diminished and smaller than usual. So it's possible, likely, I would say likely, that they're not going to pay either their full amount or maybe any. I don't know, because sports right now are just done. So I don't know. It's just hard for me to tell what that's going to be. I guess we'll find out in the coming weeks and months what they're going to do. Luckily, as you guys, maybe some of you guys didn't catch it, but the BMI update is that they are pretty much stable for the rest of the year because they've already gotten paid for the next 2 quarters. They already have that money, and it's basically going to be the regular rate that everybody was expecting. And then moving into 2021, then that's where we're going to feel the effects of what's happening right now. So at least if you're BMI members, I am, you have some time to prepare. You have some time to save, cut some of your expenses, do whatever you need to do. And if there's going to be a little bit of a dip that we feel from that, we may feel that in 2021. It's also possible that with all the eyeballs rushing to stream the screens right now and streaming services, that we might see a boom of advertising revenue and new companies and new players coming into this business, because this is where everybody's attention is. And you better believe there are companies that are smart enough to realize that they're not all just sitting on the sidelines waiting for the economy to open up. A lot of more people, are looking to see, what can I do right now? How can I get involved? How can I take advantage? How can I, get my product or service in front of a lot of eyeballs? So I would say that's going to be a very common sense thing that's going to happen right now. A lot of activity. Walt Woods, what's up? Nine Skies. Morning, guys. Thank you so much for following me here on Instagram. Feel free to share this video, share my profile, anything you want, post it anywhere you'd like to. Again, we're going to see what I do with this ultimately, but especially now during the quarantine, I'm going to start to boost up this account more than just neglecting it. It's pretty much what I've been doing. So feel free to just share this with anybody. We're going to do these kind of, just live Q&As, live chats, live hangouts, and I want to make sure that, you guys are motivated, educated, whatever you guys need from me. That's what I'm trying to do. So let me know too. Anything that would be helpful, any sort of content, any video, anything. I love ideas. I'll tell you guys, the big secret to why I stay so productive is you guys. You guys email me and comment and give me these great questions like you're doing right now. And that feeds me with creativity, because I'm like, yeah, that's actually a great topic. I'm going to go make a YouTube video about that. I'm going to go do a PowerPoint presentation. I want to do a live Q&A or whatever it is. So it's actually you guys that are directly feeding this creativity and this energy from me. So please keep it coming, and keep it coming even more. Email me, comment, anything you guys want to. Let me know what you want. Ron, would you recommend being associated with both BMI and ASCAP? You can actually only be associated with one or the other as a writer. So you cannot be a writer with BMI and ASCAP simultaneously. I personally recommend go with BMI. I switched over in 2011, 2012. I've loved it ever since, and I'm really loving how they're handling the coronavirus situation. They're paying us early. They're stable. I feel much more secure with them. I did have some tracks with ASCAP, and I still have them with them, so I'm still earning my royalties from them. But as a writer, you got to choose one or the other, BMI or ASCAP. Phono Frequency, what's up? Good morning, Jesse. What are your thoughts on getting music into video games? I haven't had a lot of experience in that, only because I've known that you basically only get the one-time sync fee. And I'm in this really mostly for the passive income. So, but I think moving forward, especially with the VR content coming online, video game industry blowing up and being much bigger than even like music and Hollywood combined, the film and music industry combined, video games are dwarfing it all. We got to look at it. We definitely got to put our finger into that and feel how we can start taking advantage of that. So I don't have a lot of experience in it, and that's one of the primary reasons why, is because I've never really wanted to get into something that just didn't provide for the back end royalties. So, but we're definitely doing more in Sync Academy, revolving that. We have one of our Sync Academy pros, Mike, which I don't know if Mike, if you're here right now or not. But we're going to release his tutorials on, he's working on them right now, but we have them scheduled for, what's the next, May 1st, beginning of the month. And it's basically going to be a complete, I think, 4 or 5 part tutorial series showing you guys how to get your assets delivered and ready for a video game placement, because you better believe that's going to be a big part of our future in this business. So we're definitely going to embrace it as it becomes more and more commonplace. All right, looks like we got a couple of questions that I missed. Here we go. Antizia, I hope I'm getting your name wrong, right? Antizia, I'm sure I'm getting it wrong. If I want to develop as an artist, is it better go an individual or through a label? Curious about your opinions. I can't give you any insights on, developing as an artist, because I don't do that. I kind of just got out of that when I got into sync licensing. So becoming an artist, I mean, some labels can be useful, but a lot of them are probably worthless right now. I think mostly you can do it yourself, and build your own fan base and get your own followers yourself. Unless an independent label or something like that, they're going to be generous. They're not going to take all of your, income and help you get some distribution. That would be the only reason why I would work with them. But pretty much have all the tools and you have all the distribution outlets at your disposal. It's just a matter of putting in a lot of work and putting out a lot of content consistently, showing your fans, showing people who might be interested in your music that you're here for the long haul. You're not just trying to get a quick hit. You're here to really have a relationship with them and give them music that they're going to love, right? Easy Drummer, I don't really use. I haven't really used it. Steven Slade has just been working great for me, so I haven't really jumped outside of that. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So I'm just sticking with what I know and what works for me. Yes, Darklight Audio is correct. You can be a publisher with different PROs. I am a publisher with both BMI and ASCAP, but you can only be a writer with one or the other. So I'll make sure you guys are clear. Thanks for clearing that up. Where does the master get registered? We're talking about registering your tracks with BMI or ASCAP, or if you're with another PRO, whatever your PRO is. So we're talking about registering your tracks so that you can collect royalties. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about Sound Exchange. We're not talking about the Library of Congress, none of that kind of stuff. We're just talking about if you want to get your tracks placed in TV shows, well, how are you going to get those royalties? Do you have the ability to go out and collect from ABC network yourself? No, we don't have that ability. That's why we need to go with a PRO, performing rights organization, which would be in the US, ASCAP or BMI. They are both the ones that are open for anybody to join. CSAC is the third, but they are private. They are basically invite only, and they will not take you on unless you already have some income generated from your royalties. I've heard great things. I've also heard not so great things from some members. I've loved BMI. They're great. Royalties are awesome. Customer service is awesome. How they're handling coronavirus is making me even really much more thankful that I stick with them. So I don't think there's any reason to switch to CSAC or even go that direction. So I love BMI. I can't say anything better about them. No affiliation. They don't pay me to say that. I'm just telling you guys what I feel. Yeah, you saw in Patriot Act that video games are bigger than all sports combined. Yeah. So it's huge, guys, and it's only going to grow bigger, because what's going to happen is that, where people are getting lost into TV shows and films, that energy or that desire in the marketplace is going to channel into VR and other video games and augmented reality and new technologies. Because what would you rather do? Go into a theater for 2 hours and watch a story being told on a flat screen? It's not bad, and good movies, you really can get lost, and it's a great feeling when you walk out of a movie theater and you're like, whoa, where was I for 2 hours? So it is magical when they can get that done, but not every movie is going to do that. It has to be really well done. It has to be super, super high quality. In VR, and I've already gone through many experiences and tried a lot of this stuff out, you are the main action hero in this experience. So it's probably not going to last for 2 hours. So we're going to see a different format, it's a different time format. But some of them maybe will last for hours or even days. Who knows? I guarantee you, though, when you take that headset off after even 5 minutes being in a virtual world, you'll get that same feeling of like, where was I for the last 5 minutes? That was trippy. I completely forgot that I was in this room. It happens to me every single time, especially if it's a really, really good experience. So that need and desire to escape is not going anywhere. We're not like done with that. Like that's just going to now be channeled away from a 2D form of entertainment into a immersive, three-dimensional piece of content that's definitely going to take over. Dark Light. I need to assess the quality of different libraries to evaluate my own music. How do I find these libraries? Do I need to purchase your list of libraries from SyncEdge? You don't have to. Basically, what I'm doing with SyncEdge is just saving you a boatload of time, weeks and probably months, and maybe also giving you insights into how to best pitch your music so that you're going to be taken more seriously than most people that are just spamming their music out to whoever and like, well, hopefully I'll get some placements doing it this way. So you're basically getting a much more methodical and well thought out approach with SyncEdge. But no, you can obviously do your own research. You can do a Google search for production music library, TV film library, and search through the pages and pages and pages of libraries that you find there and do your own research. I do have a video. We were talking about that actually just the other day here on my Instagram. It's called How to Submit to Music Libraries, and it's on my YouTube channel. 100% free. It's 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. And I'll walk you through how to actually do your own research and determine which one you really should partner with. So it's not easy. It's not going to come overnight. You're going to put in some work if you want to do it. But you absolutely can do it 100% yourself. But the reason why I put SyncEdge together is I know a lot of you guys, you have day jobs, you have other obligations, you don't have weeks or months to dedicate to devoting to doing this deep dive research. And so with SyncEdge, you don't have to. You can just basically go right to the libraries I've already researched. The ones that I've already picked out are legit, have a track record of getting placements, and I'm going to show you which type of music would probably be the best fit for them in terms of carving out a little niche for yourself and cranking out a bunch of tracks that can get placed and not just become another 10 tracks in a sea of 40,000, which isn't going to do much for you. You got to find a place where you can find that little golden zone of opportunity where they need the music, but they're not oversaturated with it. And you can actually get in there and do some really, do some damage essentially and start getting some great placements. Dano's Tree, you joined BMI. Awesome, man. Yeah, anybody with BMI right now is very thankful that they are, how they're handling the coronavirus thing. So I'm very, very happy with BMI. Oh, I'm pronouncing it right. Awesome. Could you tell me, is there any nice book or article to get basics with taxes within Sync Music? I actually have also a tutorial. It seems like that's where most of these answers go to on my channel. And it's called, let's see, Business Skills for Musicians, Taxes, something like that. I don't exactly know what I called it. So go to my YouTube channel and type in taxes, basically. Just search through my videos, or Business Skills for Musicians. I have a playlist actually, and there's like 7 or 8 videos. So I actually created a whole walkthrough on what your considerations are. Now, obviously, not giving you advice, not giving you financial advice. I'm not telling you how you should structure yourself, how you should do that. You need to talk to a CPA, talk to an accountant, talk to your local people, and just determine what is the best path for yourself. But I do at least give you, here are the different options, here's how I structure myself, and here are the basically pros and cons of each one. So definitely check that tutorial out. Title of the video, that was, I think you were talking about the how to submit to music libraries. So, Tiago, what's going on, man? Cool. Well, I think we set a record today. We had, I think, up to 27 or 30 of you. I don't know if we even got that high last time we were doing this, so that's good. More and more of you are tuning in, following along. I do appreciate that, guys. Yeah, and in the future, what we're going to do is I'm going to experiment, maybe invite a couple of you guys to, if you want to do some chats live with me here on Instagram. That'd be a lot of fun. It'd be great to get to know some of you, kind of know your story, where you're coming from. So yeah, I think that would be really, really fun to do in the future. So, yeah, definitely rewatch it if you guys missed that. Yeah, most of my answers are going to basically point you right back to my YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I think most of you guys here must be, most of you. But some of you also might be subscribed, but you haven't gone back into my previous videos. You've just been watching the new ones that I release. So you're missing out on 90% of all the old ones, but the old ones are still evergreen. Like they're still just as relevant. And if something gets outdated, I'll take the video down or I'll update it. So, you got a lot of time probably on your hands right now with quarantining. So go through all those videos. There's a lot of stuff for you guys to dive into. Yes, Kevin's asking about a tutorial in Sync about setting up multiple tracks in a session. I think I did talk about it definitely in Sync Academy. We have one, but I think I also released that on my YouTube channel as well. And I think it was called like three tracks in one session or 3 cues in one session, something like that. So yeah, but if you're in Sync Academy, definitely just type that in, 3 cues, and you'll find it in the Sync Academy tutorial area. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off here because I have to have that interview coming up in just a few minutes. So I need to make sure that my system is up and running, ready to go. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying productive, staying positive, staying just awesome. It is really tough right now to stay productive and motivated. And I know you guys are all doing that. So you guys are heroes. You guys are you're walking the walk right now, and you're becoming great leaders for probably people around you. Maybe you don't even realize that, but I bet people around you are noticing your mindset, your positivity, and you're probably having a great influence on them. So just keep that stuff up. So anyways, we'll probably check in again maybe on Saturday or Sunday here on my account. So please tune in for that. And again, share this with anybody that you feel would be served by sync licensing or just these kind of cool, fun chats we're doing. Email me, comment, whatever it is. Give me your ideas. What do you need? What are you looking for? What kind of information are you feeling like you just need to know before you can jump into this business? I need to know that. I'd love to know that so that I can put out better content for you guys here on Instagram and on my YouTube channel. So, all right, guys, take care and have a great day.